What's up? This is John Cooper from Skillet. May the rock be with you.
Hey, John, welcome back to May the Rock Be With You, man. It's been a little while since we chatted.
It has been, I know I told you last time, but I love the name. May the rock be with you. It's a great name.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Hey, but it has been 5 years, and it's actually a pleasure to actually see you. I don't think we've actually done a face-to-face sort of this way before, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? That's the maybe the only good thing that came out of the pandemic was everybody, including myself. It took me a long time to learn how to use Zoom. And then after I did, I was like, oh, it's not really that hard. It's just I hate learning new things. And then every interview, you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta look decent. Usually you can roll out of bed and do an interview.
Yeah, different
And
time.
now, but this is good because I'm a lot better with remembering faces than names, So if I see somebody, I'm like, oh yeah, we did the interview for,
Yeah,
Brisbane or whatever,
yeah, but we'll catch up in Sydney. Now, it's been 5 years since we last chatted, so let's catch up. How the last 5 years been for you?
Last 5 years, good. I mean, we had a such an incredible tour last time we came to see you guys. I guess a lot has happened. I mean, 5 years is a long time. Like
Hmm.
on a personal note, me and Corey, for people that don't know, Corey is my wife. She plays in the band. She plays guitar and keyboards for Skillet. Our daughter's getting married here right after the tour, so we come to see you guys, and then our daughter gets married.
Awesome.
So all that to say, 5 years is a long time because she was I feel like she was still a kid 5 years ago. Anyway, but anyway, it's been great. The band's doing good. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's happy. And we've had such great touring. We released some music that we were proud of. Actually, gosh, we've released two records since I saw you guys. So
Yeah.
anyway, things are good, brother.
Okay, excellent. We'll get to that. Now, we are here, though, because you are, as you said, headed back to see us in April. For someone who hasn't seen a Skillet show before, how would you typically describe a show?
Skillet's known for our energy. That's what I hear that for 20 years. Your show's so energetic. When I
Hmm.
first started heard, I thought, I think everybody's shows is energetic. I don't know what that means, but I don't know. Maybe that's not the case, but that's what we're known for. Energy, passion, positivity. I hear that quite a lot. People are like, it was really positive. Um, I assume that that's kind of mixed in with a sort of you kind of have a spirituality, you have the positivity thing, you have the hey, we we want everybody to know that your life matters. So there's this very positive. We do a lot with like suicide prevention and things like that. That kind of stuff's very important to me. So those are the things that usually mark a Skillet show. So I tell
Nice.
people if you're on the first five rows, you're probably going to get sweat from me. I'm sorry. I'm apologizing for it now.
Never apologize. Now, you mentioned two albums out since your last trip here, and with each album and subsequent tour, as your catalog grows, are you finding it harder to put a set list together?
Yeah. Yeah, it does get like that. I mean, in one sense, part of it's easy because if you don't play, like
Yeah.
that big radio song, people are going to be super ticked off.
Yeah.
So we got to play Monster and Hero and Feel Invincible and etc. But certainly, when you release albums, there's always like a song. I'm sure that you've heard this from a million different artists, so I'm sure everybody's heard it before. But there's usually a song on like the album that's the band's favorite,
Yep.
and they're certain it's going to be a hit. But in reality, it's not really a hit. It's just the song the band loves, and you selfishly want to play it. Um, or what can actually happen is that sometimes you don't have maybe that ubiquitous radio hit, but there's like a fan favorite, and
Mm.
it kind of starts. Now that happened with us with a song called The Resistance
Mm.
from our album Unleashed. That was not planned to be a radio release. We playing it live because it was a band favorite, but it actually did translate. And we found, oh wow, that's not just a band thing. The fans love it, and so we ended up doing like one of those online voting things. Vote for the next single, and it was hands down the
Yeah.
fans voted for it. So anyway,
Well,
it,
that's
it did
awesome.
become a pretty decent size hit for us.
Well done. I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait. I've seen you guys before, and it's like you said, it's just such an amazing, energetic show. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Ah, thank you.
Now, you've been here a number of times over the years. Do you have a favorite memory of Australia?
this is this is embarrassing. I've got a couple of memories. They're all stupid. I mean, look. love Australia. I love the people. I mean, people are very laid back
Mm.
and a very interesting sense of humor. Also, very sort of sarcastic, and so I like all of that. But the first thing that comes to my mind are really silly. Number one, I had never heard of avocado until the first time we came to Australia. I just never heard of it. Now, maybe people in America on the West Coast may have had it. I was like, what is this green thing? And then they put it on like everything, like eggs, toast, cheeseburgers. It was like whatever you order, it probably's got avocado. And I just was like, this is so crazy. And so ev I'm not exaggerating. Every time we have avocado is very, very popular now. It became trendy in America about a decade ago. So
Mhm.
now everybody's like, ooh, avocado toast. Like it's this amazing, like super rare thing, but it's everywhere in America now. But every single time I eat avocado, I think about Australia because that was the first time I ever had it.
That's great.
Um, Secondly, I will never forget we were in Sydney. We were walking to some sort of mall or something. We were walking on a sidewalk, and there was this massive tree. And I thought, well, I'll just pop in the street right around it. And I almost got hit by a huge bus. It scared me. If I think about the story, my heart starts pounding still to this day. And those are the things I think of about Australia, which I know are not very, that's not very winning, but it's kind of funny.
It's awesome though. Avocado
Almost
toast.
died. Almost
Yeah.
died in Sydney.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Now, in terms of new music, we had Dominion out a couple of years ago and a new single out, Finish Line, end of last year. Can we expect more new music soon?
Yeah, yeah, we are actually working on music as we speak, and we've
Mm.
taken a bit of a hiatus actually. And in fact, I mean, I haven't been doing like anything. I've been out of I was just focused on music, and of course, as I said, my daughter's wedding. So
Mm.
my daughter and my wife are focused on that, and then every spare minute I can get my wife, I'm like, we got to finish this demo. So we're doing demos, we're writing. Yeah, fully expect to have some new music out this year.
Okay, excellent. So in terms of your songwriting though, how, if in any way, has your approach to it changed as you continue to create music?
Mm. Yeah, I do think it's changed. I think that technology has made everything,
Mm.
everything change. I mean, on our last record, we were writing music via Zoom. We are writing music like this.
Yeah.
It was bananas, and some of that started actually because of the pandemic. And I had actually had a song. I was going to work with a producer scheduled, and then this was of course a couple of years ago.
Mm.
Everything was kind of opening up except that my son got COVID. And I had actually been out of town. I was like, hey, I don't have it. I feel fine to come, but you just never know. It's probably best if we stay home. And they were like, yeah, why don't you say it? I said, well, let's try a Zoom. Let's just see how it goes. But you know what was funny is it actually went pretty good. And I found that in some ways you can save a lot of time. I mean, one of the things you miss is that you miss the personal interaction, hanging out with your buddies at the
Yep.
studio, and but also you probably wasted a lot of time hanging
Yeah.
out with your buddies at the studio. So I was kind of like, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. It got me where I started trying some things that maybe I wouldn't try if I were there, if that makes sense. And so that's been kind of interesting. Other things I've tried, technology has just played a really big role, I think, because now you can do a lot of demos quickly.
Yep.
It used to be if you don't have any real outboard gear, it's pretty tough to record a demo, or you got to invest at least 10, 15, 20 grand
Mm.
into $1,000, sorry, grand. I don't know if that's the word y'all use
Yeah,
or
yeah.
not.
Yep.
A pretty decent chunk of money
Yeah.
to have something portable to record a decent sounding demo. It's not the case anymore. You can spend a little bit of money now and do something that's good enough that you get an idea and you can, because sometimes you think something's amazing until you get it down on tape and then you're
Yep.
like, yeah, that sucks. It completely sucks. And I wasted all this money. So I kind of like that,
That's
to
fair.
be
You can pick up
honest.
your phone now and record ideas on it, man, and take that with you. It's
It's great.
crazy. Like,
It really is crazy what you
yeah.
can do. Yeah, the hardest thing for me is being willing to try something new, to be like, I don't want to learn how to use that software. I don't like learning new things. I want to keep it old school. And I'm usually the very last to try something, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I do that the whole time? That was stupid.
Avocado, last to try it.
Avocado, last to hear of it, last to try it. Don't even
Now
like it that much.
let's look back over your career because it can be very easy to say what can change over time. But what's the one thing that's always remained the same about Skillet?
You know, I think there's several things. Because Skillet's had a lot of different maybe iterations of the band. Like you can definitely hear eras of Skillet, like,
Mm,
oh, that was very industrial. This was very something different. This was a little bit more electronic. There's these changes. Um, because we're not lucky enough to be Metallica or or somebody like that is just AC/DC. It's
mm,
like they have the sound,
yeah.
and nobody needs AC/DC to try a new sound.
No.
Please don't keep it. There's no reason to kind of recreate the wheel, they say. Skillet's not been lucky enough for that, but the thing that I think stayed the same has been number one, my voice. Usually people know, for better or for worse, they're like, oh, that's the guy from Skillet singing, and that's maybe good, maybe bad, but it's what it is. I think the more important thing for Skillet is we've always been true to who we are, and very authentic in our lyrics and the
Mm,
way I present myself. To somebody says, what's the thing you remember about Australia? You're supposed to say something really cool that makes people go, man, he's so cool. And instead I make fun of myself for never hearing of avocado. But that's just me being myself
yeah.
because I don't know any other way to be, and I don't want to be anything different. I think that people can sniff out a fake, and they can sniff out brown nosers, and they can sniff out when somebody's trying to go with the crowd to be popular. And I don't want to do that. That's just not who I am. So I think the thing to say the same as Skillet was, this is who we are. We're proud of who we are. I personally think that people should be proud of who they are. Don't apologize. Stand for what you believe in. Make a defense for it if you have to. But running with the crowd just to get the approval of other people is, to me, that's just embarrassing. I could never do that. So I think Skillet stay true to who we are. And again, for better or for worse, I'm proud of that.
Brilliant answer. My favorite thing I love about you guys is you guys write like anthemic music. It's that feel good, you know, fist in the air sort of songs. I love that sort of stuff, man. So
Oh, that's cool to hear. Well, thank you so much. Skillet is definitely good workout music. It's good, like fight for what you believe in music. Hopefully, it helps people win some football games or something like that. I don't
there
know.
you go. Now, I do like asking the question called I Wish I Wrote It. So is there one song in the world that you wish you wrote? What would that be and why?
Oh, there's too many songs. I mean, all the ones that come to my mind: Purple Rain,
Ugh.
Enter Sandman.
Yeah,
I'll just stick with those two.
yeah, it's fair. Yeah.
I mean, Enter Sandman. I don't think you have to explain why you wish you would have wrote that. It's just got the awesomest guitar riff. It's just perfect metal song.
Yep.
Um, uh, Purple Rain might, for some people, they might be like, I don't really get that one. I think it's the case that maybe people of a certain generation do understand. Purple Rain is one of those songs. That's by Prince. For anybody that doesn't know, Prince is one of my favorite artists of all time.
Mhm.
Prince is a musical genius. He played like 23 instruments, and the thing about Prince is he plays all the instruments better than people who play that instrument as a primary instrument.
Yeah.
I have a friend that was one of his musicians, and he's like, you go to rehearsal, like Prince will he used to write out the music that you play. You learn it, you go to rehearsal, and you play what Prince wrote for you to play. And if you start getting a feeling like, you want to ad lib or add your own flair, he'll, this is his words. I don't know if it's true or not. This is what my friend told me. He says that Prince will stop the rehearsal and be like, what did you just do? What did you just do? He'll grab their instrument and say, no, this is how it goes. He can play everybody's instruments. So Purple Rain is one of those songs. But you know what else I love about Purple Rain is that it's so brilliant because nobody really knows what Purple Rain means,
Mm,
but everybody knows what it means. It's one of those, you don't really have to explain this. It's a feeling. It's the magic of music. I don't know exactly what it means, but I know what it means to me, and it got me through some hard times in my life. To
mhm.
me, that's like music at its best. And so that's probably why I would probably go with that. Probably my favorite song of all time.
Yeah, I went to Paisley Park a couple of years ago when I was over, and man, what an experience that was.
Oh man, I never
Yeah.
got to see Prince live, unfortunately.
Oh, I did once, just once, but yeah.
It's one of those things when you go, I'll do it next time.
Mm.
And it's just a reminder, don't do that. If you have the chance, you go do it because there's no guarantees.
Yeah, you could stand next to a tree and get hit by a bus. You never know.
In the middle of Australia tour, man, come on.
Don't do that. Now, if there was to be a biopic made about Skillet, what would you want it to be called?
A biopic. Um, um, how about either something about maybe Feel Invincible. How's that? I just
That's
came up with
good.
it. Feel Invincible.
All right, write
Because
that down.
it's been 20, we're celebrating 28 years of Skillet this year. I never thought Skillet would last longer than a couple of years, 5 years at the most.
Hmm.
I don't think anybody else thought it would either. And miracle of miracles, we ended up creating this grassroots thing. And I was like, this is so cool. I love it. And that was 10, 11, 12 years into the band.
Mhm.
And then we had a radio hit. So it was 13 years before we had our first radio hit. And that was a really wonderful moment. And then I was like, wow, maybe I could do this for another few years. And here we are 28 years later. So Feel
Awesome.
Invincible. How's that? That's a
I
good one.
like it. We'll use that. Write that down. We'll use that for later on.
I will.
But, yeah, yeah. Now we've talked about this before because I want to nerd out a little bit for a second. We're Marvel fans that we discussed. Have you watched the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer yet?
I just saw it on our Super Bowl here in America. So yeah, I saw that. I'm not as familiar with Deadpool, which I know is like heresy to Marvel fans. I was more into the older stuff. Now I
Yeah,
did love the Avengers films and all of that, but I grew up on it. And was Deadpool 90s? Is that when Deadpool
kinda.
started? Probably.
Yeah.
That was probably around the time that I was getting out of comics. So Deadpool, not one of my favorite ones. Not to say that I wouldn't see it.
You should watch it. But when we talked last time, it was Infinity War had come out, and I asked you what you think was going to happen in the next one, and we didn't know, and it came out to be one of the best movies of all time, Endgame.
Oh, I forgot about that, man. I Infinity War, I think is probably the best.
Mm,
Even though I mean I thought that the ending well, all of a sudden my mind, what's the last film called?
Endgame.
Thank you. Endgame to me was very satisfying. It's not like I loved every single aspect, but who cares? It was amazing. I'm in. Marvel rules. That they were just crushing it. I think Infinity War was probably my favorite of all of the films of the
Yeah.
entire thing. And it was just so genius. And then it just left you like,
What?
how are they gonna fix? You better fix it. And how are they gonna fix it?
Yeah, so good. Now, lastly, let's look ahead to the future with a prediction. I love doing this. So finish this sentence for me. By the end of 2024, Skillet will.
Oh, Skillet will have new music released.
Good.
That's probably not like the greatest prophecy ever told, but it's decent. Speaking of prophecy, the new Dune film comes out soon, and I'm
Oh,
very, very excited about it.
beautiful looking movie. Can't wait to see that.
Yeah, me too.
John, absolute pleasure to talk to you again, mate. It's every 5 years or so we talk. Let's do it a lot sooner every time now.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Let's do it. No, I
All right.
really appreciate the interview. Thanks for pumping
No
up
worries,
the
mate.
tour and all that. I appreciate it, brother.
I look forward to We'll catch up in Sydney. I want to say good day in person. It'd be awesome.
Please.
All right, man. I'll
All
see you
right.
soon.
See you soon, brother.
See you, buddy. Bye.
Later.